My fellow Illuminaries, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gabe. Good to see you all. Online gaming has always been a part of my life. I actually were in the between like Atari and the NES and all this stuff and PS3 gaming. And I know PS2 had some stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being biased, but I don't think consoles. I had a console from my dad got me a PS1, the PS2, the PS3 to the PS4 to the PS5. With some intermissions in between, and I have to say, um, I for one never remember online gaming even being that much of a thing to me until the PS3. And the problem with that is, there were some things I had to come to understand. All right, so to kind of illustrate this, I wrote a story, kind of recalling my time with this stuff. I remember being in my high school class and some nerds in my AP history class was talking about a game on the Xbox 360 that allowed the player to free roam and do whatever they wanted. I thought they were talking about GTA San Andreas, which I secretly played using my friend's copy and I had to sneak past my parents. But then the conversation led to a dragon attacking you at the beginning of the game, and I knew at some point I had to interject in the conversation using my powers of phenomenal cap. At the time, I don't do that anymore. And they explained to me that the game was on the next gen of consoles. At the time, I did not own, which I said in my opening soliloquy. You see, at the time, I made a failure of myself. One year, instead of asking my parents for a PS3, I was taken in by the wave of hype and amazing ads by the Nintendo Wii. Do y'all remember those ads? We would like to play. Those ads were lit, bro. I'll be honest. I didn't regret getting the Wii because getting Super Smash Bros. And the Mario Kart was fire. And when the boys were over, it was good. But as a young man, sometimes you need to play single player games. Like seriously, man. And the Wii, man, they were just big into this Wii Fit stuff and all this. What is that? Like, listen, man. Listen, at the time, I didn't realize how ridiculous this like Wii Remote and Nunchuck was. But in retrospect, I was doing way too much work to play Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I actually felt like I was Usain Bolt out there. The immersion was too good. I was sweating in the living room. It smelled awful. No, I'm good. So I had to return to the PS2. I was content playing Ratchet and Clank because the game was straight fire. Actually, it was up your arsenal fire. I didn't have any heavy internet at the time, and the bros were the only team I needed. Actually, me and my family actually played Ratchet and Clank a lot, like placing mines, doing things. You know the little online mode you would do online. We would just play 2-on-2 and just use half the map. You know the things you would come up with to spend the time back in the day. The creativity. Kind of miss it. However, at the same time, one of my friends kind of pulled away from the group. He kind of snuck away. He stopped hanging around as much outside. He was too busy playing a game about raiding and orcs and all that jazz. I couldn't care less. That sounds boring to me. But he was enamored by it. And I was slowly figuring out on my own how the internet worked. I was hooking up random cords to my PS2 to try to figure it out. I mean, dude, I had a whole phone cord I was trying to figure out. To this day, man, the internet and phone cord just look too similar. I'm just saying. Probably from its history. I was figuring out slowly I was hooking up random cords. I just read that. What am I doing? Now, you gotta remember, I was a straight TV guy. All right, I played TV my console hooked up to a TV. So the idea of this outside apparatus called a computer outside of school was kind of a new concept for me. Okay, so I was doing some weird things to get that thing to work. And actually, the first time I ran into it, I actually can come over here. I was trying to do crossplay before that thing even existed. I was trying to play this game called Orc Raiders, but nah, it was called World of Warcraft. But I couldn't. My computer was too trash. But don't worry, I found an alternative game to play with. And at first, I was gonna surprise my friend and be like, "Man, I got this game called RuneScape. Play together." And little did I know, and soon I started to realize that console games are just far superior at the time if you wanted to play with your friends, because these computer games are straight up about being alone. That's how I thought at the time. Because you only have one screen, you have one keyboard, one mouse, and the people you're playing with is not actually in the room with you, bro. I thought that was an inferior gaming experience to playing Soul Calibur with your friends and being able to headlock them if they annoyed you. I thought that was inferior, to be honest. I also remember on my computer, actually my school computer, Type to Learn. I did not want to do that. So, as a gamer, I played Oregon Trail. Let me say, the game was hard. And I think I beat it once. Because every time you would get dysentery. Oh, dysentery, man. Well, anyway, I finally get the computer working. I finally get on RuneScape. I'm locked in. This is the first time I encountered something that will follow me throughout. From, I think it was like 2010 when I started online gaming, to right now in 2000, the big 2025. Lag and latency. Jeez, man. Nothing like seeing a bunch of players load in, being excited like that, and then slowly watching the game load in after the players load in, realizing, bro, this is unplayable. But you know what? I persevered. Your computer is not up to snuff. Now remember, this was 2010, around there, 2009. It wasn't too much. The computers weren't that crazy, especially for the common man like myself. Common boy, I should say. So, my bright idea was, okay, I can't leave the city because the game won't load past there. So, I'm going to kill cows. And remember, this is my first introduction into being a second-class citizen in online gaming, because you needed a membership to play World of Warcraft, right? Eventually, right? So RuneScape, you also need a membership. This was my first foray in being a straight peasant. And I'm not saying if you're poor, you're a peasant. I'm saying the games make you feel like that. Anyway, you go in there. I couldn't do any of the quests. I started saving money. And then I realized everyone was walking around with these Addy armors and rune armors. I'm like, man, I want my little sprite to look cool too. Obviously. Who wants to look trash? So, over there, to the nearest scummy guy. I didn't know he was scummy. And he said, one of those guys would be like, I got free armors. I got all this stuff. I can freely trim your armor. I did not know. He was taking advantage of my lack of game knowledge, yo. I did not know you couldn't trim armor. I did not know you couldn't do that. Anyway, I gave him the money. He said, do the trade first. Bro, I didn't know. I was just a happy-go-lucky guy. Little kid playing my game. And then all of a sudden, all the money that I saved up getting cowhides was gone. I never did get that black armor. I still got something against computer gaming to this day. To this day.